Okay, welcome, this is Frank from Optics Warehouse. Today we've purposely chosen quite a breezy, changeable, windy day to talk about, you've guessed it, one of the biggest problems a shooter and sniper will face, wind. Now we have a number of devices of controlling the wind, but first we need to know what the wind is and what it's doing. So the way to describe the wind is a living phenomenon. The wind changes direction, it comes in and moves out, very similar to like a wave crashing along the shoreline. So the wind's coming bursts, and actually at the minute we can feel a burst of wind, and then it's going to be changed with a bout of calmness, and then there's going to be more wind. Now, when we shoot, we need to try and shoot in the periods of calm. Reality is, in the military, you might be on a time frame or a time sequence or part of a coordinated attack where you don't have time to control the wind. We do have a number of aids which can help us in this capacity. The one which is very common, a lot of people use, is a wind reading device like the Kestrel. This one here is the Kestrel Elite with applied ballistics. So this is actually more than a wind reader. This is a pocket weather station with a ballistic software chip in it. And of course how it will work is we need to identify the direction of the wind, which in this case is coming, for me, but the worst it could be, from my right to my left. It is changing, but generally it's coming from this direction. So we'd aim it in the wind, take the wind direction, and then we're going to look at two wind speeds. So if I press it when the wind is up and it's maximum, and I would take it again when the wind has calmed down, and this would give me something to work. Now, excellent piece of equipment, highly recommended, although pricey. The problem with that is you've got to constantly have this monitoring the wind for you and remoting it to you, or someone doing that for you. So what I prefer to use is a device which I came up with after serving in the military, and that's a wind finder. As you can see, it's instantly showing me the direction of the wind, which is very important, and then it's showing me the speed or the value of the wind. What works best for some strange reason is a bit of string with a knot tied in it sticking out the bottom of the wind finder, as you can see. In the military they break the wind down into 5 workable chunks. These are, in simple terms, 5, 10, 15, 20 and 25 miles an hour. And the wind variables from a gentle breeze to a strong and even a very strong wind. Now the wind finder itself, it's graduated, and as you can see on the wind finder itself, we put 4 types of wind on it. So it graduates from gentle, moderate, fresh and also strong. So it only really goes up to 20 miles an hour. The great advantage this has though is we're in position, we're locked on ready to shoot, and we feel the wind on your face, or you feel the wind, and then out the left eye you're looking at the wind finder. We're seeing what it's doing, and we're looking at the direction and the strength of the wind. So at the minute you can see the string is hanging pretty slack, which means there's no wind speed, and so really the direction isn't really an issue. When that string starts to lift, then we need to pay attention to what direction, because of course this is the most problematic to me. The wind going through this direction, so the wind there is 0 value. So regardless what the string is doing, in layman's terms, that's not going to affect your shot. Whereupon the wind going from my right to left, 3 o'clock through to 9 o'clock, or indeed 9 to 3, is problematic. This is going to send the bullet off, left or right. So this is where we need to pay attention to it. So I'm ready to take the shot. I feel the wind, I look at the sniper wind finder. The thing I'm looking for now is a condition where I want to shoot. I'm paying attention now. I notice the wind is off, the direction is 0, so then I take my shot. If I need to make an adjustment to the target, I chamber a second round, get set up, start my breathing cycle again, and then waiting for the wind finder. In this case it's a 0 value. There is a bit of wind, I'm just waiting for it to calm down, and now I take my second shot. Just by having something simple like this masters the control of your near wind. Remember, there are 3 types of wind. which we need to concern ourselves with in the shooting world, which is your near wind, which really affects the bullet as it's moving into clean air out of the barrel, and affects it probably more than any other stage in the bullet's travel to the target. The other type of wind, which is very hard to determine, is when the bullet reaches at maximum height. If you ever shoot at Bisley, you'll notice the range flags are 6 meters high. That's the height that some projectiles will reach up to before they descend for the last third. This is the culminating point, or maximum ordnance is going to reach. So again, that's a value for wind. Finding the wind on the target is very important. So the wind finder has the advantage over the Kestrel in the fact that we can look at the wind at the target through the scope, and when we're happy with that, we can pay attention to the wind finder, and a combination of the two can narrow down, with some young snipers, what would take 3 rounds on a choppy day to hit a target to possibly 2 rounds. Okay, welcome again. So let's recap about the wind. To illustrate it today, I'm going to use this 22 caliber rifle. It's fitted with an Athlon 8 to 34 by 50 millimeter scope. Quite a cheap combination to use in comparable to a 7.62 rifle, and of course the .22 projectile, particularly if it's a 40 grain or something similar, coming out around about 360 meters per second, is going to get chopped by the wind, so it's quite a good tool to teach with. So to recap on the wind, remember there's 2 main parts to the wind. First of all, we have the direction of the wind, and the second we have the strength or the value. So the direction of the wind is very important, and obviously the strength of the wind. When we're using the wind finder in conjunction, as you can see it's starting to move. The method being employed is called the pointing method. This is similar to where you look at the bottom of a flag which has been blown by the wind, or you take some paper or grass out of your pocket and you drop it and it blows. You look at the angle that it falls at and you divide it by 4, and that gives you an approximate wind speed. So let's say you drop it at a 45-degree angle, or you're looking at the base of a flag, or in the case of a wind finder here, we're looking at the angle there, divide it by 4, and it gives the equivalent number. 45 degree, approximately 11 miles an hour. What we're waiting for now, we're waiting for the wind to settle down before we take our shot. But currently, when we're looking at this, the direction is not full value and it's not 0 value, it's more like half value. So that means it's now half 11 miles an hour, which is roughly 5 or 6 miles an hour. Now this is important information if we need to dial that onto the sight. Ideally though, we want to shoot when the wind is off, and this is what we're going to achieve today. Remember, one more thing to be said about the wind is plotting the wind and calculating the wind is pretty good and very important, particularly for the sniper. But really, until that projectile travels down range and strikes a target, do you really know what you're dealing with? And this is where the combination of a sniper and spotter looking for the missed shot put the shot onto the target. There's an old mortars saying which is employed in a lot of areas of the military, particularly the snipers, and it's called SWAG, and it stands for simply scientific wild ass guess. And really that's sort of what we're doing. We're making a calculated guess at where this projectile is going to go. So what I want you to do is watch, not so much for shooting, but how I control the wind using the wind finder. Okay, so the shooter's ready, taking up the trigger, starting my breathing cycle. Now I feel the wind on my right cheek, and with my left eye I'm observing the wind. What can I see? I can see full value, changing to half value, changing to 0 value. So what I want to do is shoot either when it's 0 value, i.e. the vane is going from 12 to 6 o'clock, or 6 to 12 o'clock, or indeed the string drops off totally. So I'm checking the wind at the target. The wind of the target is good. The wind of a sniper hider is good. Taking the shot now. Shot number 2. Wind is up, I can feel it on my cheek. I'm observing through the target, wind is on at the target end, and you can see the sniper wind finder is moving as well. So we're now at full value, 0 value now. Checking the target end. Okay, there's a lull coming up. Wind at the target end is good, but there's wind here still. Remember what I said, the wind comes in waves, so we're going to wait. And looking at the trees behind, I can see that the wind is calming down. So checking the target again, good. Wind finder, we're just waiting for that. Here comes this burst of wind, then it should calm down. You should be able to hear that on the camera as well. Okay, we're going to try and fire now when it's a 0 value, which is direction from, here we go, firing. And again, wind is good at the target end. A little bit of wind here, so we're just holding. Again, there's no science to this. I can feel the wind on my right cheek. Observation of the wind finder, I can see it's moving all over. And where we are on this small plateau, we've got a bit of fishtailing wind, where the wind is going round us in a circle. Now the wind's easing off, I can feel that. I'm just waiting for the wind finder to calm down. Here comes the burst, it'll be followed by a lull. Firing. Okay, wind's up, and looking at that string there, that's a 15 mph wind at half value. So that equates to 7 mile-an-hour wind. Here comes another burst of wind, so this will be followed by a period of calm. Target is good, just waiting for the wind finder now. It was a little bit slow there, my mistake there, a little bit slow in catching that one. Target's still good, firing now. Can feel the wind again, last shot now. Bit of wind at the target end at the minute, so I'm going to relax. Wind finder is half value, as you can see. It's now saying 10 miles an hour, so really being half that, it's 5 miles an hour. And you can see the value of a wind finder compared to just trying to guess this by feeling it on your face, looking at the features moving, the wind blowing, the trees moving, the grass moving, maybe flags out there which are a bit of an aid, of course. Okay, so wind's coming straight through now. Check the target end, that's looking good. Firing, and that's a hit. Okay, so there we see the wind finder in action. Of course it is time consuming, but then again, each shot counts. If you're buying the ammunition, you don't want to waste it, and you want to learn. The application of this can greatly improve your wind reading ability. Of course, remember there's still the wind down range, so you need some indicator at the target end, and ideally in the real world you'd really want the maximum height the bullet's going to go, but really in a lot of cases this is impossible to determine. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, please subscribe. This is Frank at Optics Warehouse.